What's good, YouTube? It's 12 Gauge 365, aka Stan the Man here, and I'm back at y'all with another video. Now, the last time I was here, I did a quick breakdown slash review of my home defense shotgun build. Now, with this video, I'm gonna do a quick breakdown and review of my home defense slash EDC slash duty build. So not only do I carry this every day, just my EDC every day I'm just out traveling, running errands, or anything. I have this on me. I also work armed security, and I use this for my duty slash it's kind of like my duty build. It's kind of like a universal build. It's pretty much a basic gun that everybody would probably use for their first pistol purchase. So I have other pistols that I use for my range days when I do want to get into competition shooting as well. So I have a few pistols that I bought that I don't really use that much. So whenever I do get ready to venture into competition shooting or whatnot, I'll just go ahead and bring those out. So I usually just only use the extra ones for my extra pistols and stuff for range day purposes. But yeah, let's just go ahead and break down my EDC right now. All right, so if y'all look at the first video I posted, I did start the episode 1 of my Glockjitsu series. I kind of coined that term myself. It's kind of funny that I was just kind of talking with my homies every now and then. I kind of be in a group chat just talking with them, and I just said that I said something. Somebody said something about jujitsu, and then somebody said something about a Glock, and I just kind of put it together, man. So anytime I do a review of any of my Glock builds, I just call it Glockjitsu, man. So since I will be going over my EDC today, and it is my Glock 45, so this will be my episode 2 of my Glockjitsu series, and we're just gonna break down my home defense slash EDC slash duty build and all that good stuff. So, like I said, since this is my EDC and this is my home defense build, it is loaded. It's not one in the, I don't have one in the chamber, but it is loaded. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clear this right now for y'all. So I've taken the mag out, racking the slide back. There's nothing in there. Like I said, we do practice safe direction. We do practice gun safety on this channel as well. So, like I said, let's go ahead and break it down, the Glock 45 build, man. So, right off the bat, it started off, obviously, Glock 45. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think all Glock 45s are Gen 5 builds, so they should come optic cut. I'm not sure that I've seen a Glock 45 without an optic cut, but whatever the case may be. So yeah, so this is my Glock 45 build, and obviously everybody, the universal theory is that the Glock 19 is the best pistol to start off with for anybody to get into guns or whatnot. So yeah, everybody says the the Glock 19 is the marquee gun, but I personally would like to go ahead and campaign for the Glock 45 being the perfect pistol build, because like I said, not everybody, you do have people that are my size. Like, I'm 6'5", I walk around at 285 when I'm out of competition. Sometimes I can get up to 290, and on the right holiday when we eat the right food, I can even probably be pushing 300 sometimes. But yes, so I have very, very, very large hands. So with the Glock 19, I think the grip handle stopped about right here. So the Glock 19 I carried, I think I had a Gen 4 Glock 19 and a Gen 5 MOS Glock 19. And I carried the Gen 5, I carried the Gen 5 for a good little while. I carried it for almost a year before I finally just said, I'm just gonna go ahead and sell it, just because like I just do not like the smaller grip handles. Like, every pistol that I own has to have something that's big enough for me to get a full purchase on the pistol. And yeah, like I said, the Glock 45 just fits. And if you look at even with the mag well, like, everything is just perfect for my hands, and I can just get a full grip and a full purchase, and I can get a real hot and tight grip on it, so I can be able to control my recoil impulse. So yeah, the Glock 45 is, like I said. And then, if I'm not mistaken, my firearms instructor, when I went and took my certification for my arms license, he said that they did like a universal test for 2 or 3 different regular models of Glocks. Like, they did the 19, the 17, and the 45, and the 45 just outperformed both of the pistols or whatnot, just because I forgot what he said, the reason why was, but yeah, the Glock 45 for some reason performed better than the other two models, that the other two common models that, you know, law enforcement and stuff uses, which is, of course, is going to be the Glock 17 and the Glock 19, depending on what your hand size is. But the Glock 45 is the perfect mix between them, both of them, is because you're getting the smaller, more compact frame of the Glock 19, and you're getting the longer grip handle of the Glock 17. So, like I said, man, I love the Glock 45. This is my favorite pistol. So, right off the bat, we have the suppressor height sights on there because, like I said, I mean, you know, if it's my EDC, I usually don't run optics on something that I know I'm going to use. I've just recently, in the past year or two, just succumbed to the idea of fitting my pistols with optics. I still have my pistols that I don't have optics on, but like I said, since this is my universal pistol, I just went ahead and threw an optic on there. And of course, I went with and the battery's dead right now. I have to get a new battery on there, but I do have videos you can see in my shorts where I do have this on, and I do have videos taking shots downrange with it. So yeah, we have the Swamp Fox Kraken on there. This is one of the best optics out there, in my opinion, because not you're not going to be spending the aim point acro money on there. This will run you still like 250 to 350 bucks, depending on where you get it from. I was actually able to get this for like 180 something on eBay. Somebody was selling it. So like I said, you can get them even cheaper than that. So like I said, I'm always going to be a proponent of budget optics because you do not need your Trijicons. You don't need an aim point acro. You don't really need a Holosun, even though Holosun is considered a budget optic. It's one of the higher end budget optics. But you know, you don't need these super expensive optics. All you need is something that is reliable and it's not going to break the bank. If you're going to spend $1,000 on a pistol, if you're going to spend $1,000 on a pistol and attachments or anything on that, the most expensive thing, in my opinion, that you should be spending money on is the pistol itself and the ammo, the accessories and stuff like that. That, you know, like I said, these that, like the light. Of course, I put a light on here and the optic on here. If you know the battery failed, like I said, the batteries failed on this one, and you know the battery is probably going to run out on this one at some points. But you know when they do go out, like you if you don't, it's not really going to matter anyway. If you don't know how to use iron sights, then it's putting all these attachments and stuff on here is not really going to help you become a better shooter. So like I said, I put an optic on here, like I said, because I'm going to be using it for more than just home defense purposes or whatnot. But you do not need an optic, and if you do put an optic on there, you don't need to spend $600-700 on a Trijicon or anything like that. Although they are cool, and I did see that Trijicon is having they did start manufacturing green dots as well as the red dots. So I mean, if I'm gonna break the bank and spend money on an optic, it'll probably be a Trijicon just because they have green dots now. But like I said, most of my optics is probably gonna be a Holosun or something budgeted that it's not really it costs less than 150 bucks to have. So like I said, we got the suppressor height sights on there, and then we put the Swamp Fox Kraken on there, and of course we got the TLR 7A Streamlight on there because with the holster that I have, it just kind of fits perfectly with my holster. And this holster is actually something. This is kind of worn out. This is a very worn out holster. I've had this for quite some time now, and actually it's not even a left-handed holster. So when I ordered it from Amazon, it was supposed to be a left-handed holster, and then the screw even popped out. I think it literally just popped out when I pulled it out from my waistband, but I'll put the screw back in there. But anyway, like I beat this damn holster to hell. So yeah, when I ordered it from Amazon, it was supposed to be a left-handed holster, and obviously it had the extra little space right here on the back. So what I did was I just used the Dremel and I drilled some holes on the other side of it, and then I kind of use my other pieces to the Dremel to kind of smooth the top part out, because they have the extra material right here to kind of protect you from burning yourself or whatnot. But I just kind of shave that part off, in that way it'll be able to fit the pistol into the holster like it should. It won't come out, and yeah, it won't come out, and yeah, you'll be able to draw and do everything you need to do with it. So I got the optic and the light on there, and of course I put the mag well, and I do have and like I said, I do have this mag loaded. This is my EDC. So yeah, this is a Magwell and +6 base plate combo from Tyrant CNC. Yeah, it's from Tyrant CNC, and it's a +6 base plate and the Magwell with it. So put it in there for a second. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like with the mag in there. So Gonna pop this mag out, show that we are clear again. Just let y'all know we are clear. Just because I put the mag back in there, safe direction. All right, so you get +6 with the Tyrant CNC base plate. So with the regular Glock 45/Glock 17, you get 17 rounds with the +6. So there's 23 rounds plus with the one in the head. So you can fill this thing up and have 24 rounds with this +6. I do want to get more of these, but like I said, I don't like putting a whole bunch of base plates. I do like to have a couple of regular stock Glock magazines just in case something goes bad, because with the base plates, like, you never know, you can have a failure to feed, and you know, jams and stuff like that can happen, not always. So like I said, I only keep a couple of magazines with a plus base plate on there. So yeah, and I just keep a couple of just regular stock magazines just because, you know, just reliability purposes, man. Glocks are the most reliable pistols out there, but when you start throwing a whole bunch of aftermarket parts on there, then everybody knows you're playing with the reliability on there. And I say it a lot because that's just what I was taught. Because when I first purchased pistols and stuff, you know, it was a Smith & Wesson, and then I traveled over to Canic, and then I, you know, trickled over there into Glock. And I'm kind of more of a Springfield fan now, but, you know, Glocks will always be something that I go back to just because, you know, it's a freaking Glock, man. And yeah, and the only other thing we got on here is a freaking a beaver tail on there. Of course, you know, you kind of clip the beaver tail off and you stick it on there, and then I kind of put some goon tape around there. And you know, yeah, man, that is the everyday build. Like, there's nothing really to it. I mean, with the Glock itself, it's gonna run you about $500. With the suppressor height sights, they can run you anywhere from 75 to 150, just depending on where you go. I believe these were about 75 to $80. And then you have the Swamp Fox Kraken. Like I said, I paid 180 for it. They go up to 350. You know, you can pay up to 400 after tax. So they are kind of expensive, but you can find these for a lot cheaper than retail. And like I said, they are still a better option than the Aimpoint Acro or Leaden Steel or Steiner MPS or any one of those enclosed emitters, where they run you about half the price, or probably more than what the pistol is its damn self. So like I said, man, and then of course with the TLR 7A 130 to 140 online, like I said, man, you can't beat it. But most of the time, like, you can find these lights usually. So the thing is I am a very big proponent of purchasing. Obviously, you want to purchase your guns brand new, manufactured, brand new, out of the box, fresh, and all that good jazz like that. But you know, every now and then, man, just make a couple rounds to your local pawn shop. You never know what they have on sale. You never know what they have for sale that have extra attachments to them. So most of the lights that I have on my pistols, a lot of them come from just purchasing pistols from the pawn shop that already have attachments on there. Like, you never know what somebody pawned and wasn't able to come back and get. So I'm a very big vocal proponent of purchasing your pistols from pawn shops, man. Obviously, like, you can take it to a gunsmith, and if you know about guns themselves, then you won't have to worry about functionality once you do buy the gun, because you know what to do to fix it. And most of the time, if you have a great respectable pawn shop, they have a good gun guy in there that inspects the pistols when they bring them in, so you don't really have much to worry about. I would just stay away from the cheap Tauruses and stuff like that. Like, Tauruses are a good gun to buy, but if you're gonna buy one, I would just rather buy one brand new, because if they bring it into a pawn shop, a lot of times, I've worked in pawn shops, the Tauruses are the most beat up, most unkept, just, you know, just not well kept pistols that are in the pawn shop. So like I said, man, if you wanna buy your first pistol, and just don't be afraid to walk in the pawn shop and ask some questions. You never know what they have in there. So yeah, like I said, man, a lot of the lights that I have come from, you know, pawn shop type situations, and buying them from pawn shops, because not only do I have the stream lights, I have a few stream lights, but I also have a few other just kind of cheap pistol lights that I can kind of put on, you know, whatever pistol or anything that I want. Like, I got this cheap Crimson Trace. It came off of a shotgun I bought, you know, Surefire. Then we got another Streamlight, and then we got the Streamlight TLR1. So like I said, man, it's like I said, man, you know, like I said, buy a few, you know what I'm saying? You can buy your few from the stores or the retailers or whatnot, but most of the time, if you walk into a pawn shop and you're looking for something, like, they'll have something that'll have attachments on there to where you won't even have to worry about it, man. I think there was only, I think I bought and then there was another one. I think the Shadow Systems that I bought from the pawn shop. It came with two extra mags, a holster, and the freaking TLR 7 sub or 7X or something like that. So, like I said, man, there's nothing wrong with going to the pawn shop and purchasing your pistols if you know where to look and you know where to look and you know what you're looking for. So, like I said, man, that's a quick breakdown of my EDC, my home defense build or whatnot. I'll post some more videos of that. I do have, I did put the Ramjet on there as well, and I kind of did a review of the Ramjet, but I'll post that footage soon. It's just, I've been trying to focus on building, another YouTube channel and stuff. So be sure to check that out, man. That's Stan the Man. So check that out. I'll link that in the description as well. So just kind of check out my other content that I got coming up soon, man. And yeah, just yeah, man. Y'all just stay safe, stay dangerous, and stay blessed. Like I said, man, and we will see y'all on the next one, man. 12 gauge out, man. I enjoyed making this video for y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all found it informative. And yeah, man, just let me know. Let me know what y'all want to see next, man. And I think the next video I'll do is probably a review of my home defense AR rifle build or something like that, man. So I got a couple of rifles I want to show off as well. So I'll drop a video on that too. So yeah, man, I don't want to keep rambling and stuff, man. So we will see y'all on the next one, man. 12 gauge out.